Oops, I did press the go live button, and
Oh,
that's
darn.
that's a very. Oh, now we're back to normal. Okay, well, just try and do a bit of branding, RUTO. Just trying to show off
Yes.
those incredible pecs.
Yes.
Goodness me. What have people tuned into? How are you? This is Ham Radio Nonsense. Good morning, good evening, and good night, everybody. How are you? All going in
I
the chat.
am doing fantastic. I am at Galveston Island, and it's completely overcast, and I'm on battery power, and for some reason, 40 meters is silent for me. It's very weird.
Well, we were just talking about that you're completely on battery at the moment, aren't you? You're
Yes.
completely off grid, not even a solar panel connected.
I don't have a solar panel connected. What's the point? There's no sun.
Completely overcast. Well, today we're going to be talking about the best ham radio deals on Amazon that you can get today on the Nonsense Show. And we've already got a few people popping in here. A couple of things we want to get out of the way early is Seahorn. Seahorn, the wife isn't looking. Spend my money. That's
Right.
always... you got to be careful, don't you? You got to open up an incognito browsers, and you've got to make sure it gets delivered to an address that isn't monitored. And
Use the debit card on the special cash account that you keep at the bank that she doesn't know about.
and then when it arrives, you've got to unbox it and throw all the packaging away, and then put it on the bench like it's been there for 10 years, and just say, "Oh no, I got this ages ago." So someone gave this to
No,
me.
a friend of mine got this and shipped it to my house because his wife would yell at him. I'm just testing it out.
So thank you, Seahorn, for the $4.99 super chat. We do have the soundboard back.
It's good to have it back.
And on top of that, David M. Wilson, hello, good morning to you in Australia. It is 9 o'clock here in VK land. And thank you for the $15 super chat. That's awesome. Now, I do have to... Shut up. I have to put a slight disclaimer out there, is that the links to some of these Amazon deals are in the chat below. They are affiliate links, but also...
peeking.
They
Okay.
do, yeah, no peeking. But also they do redirect to the USA Amazon website. And some things are available to be shipped to Australia internationally. Some things aren't. And it's one of the many bugs that I have with Amazon is that they regionalize their store. They have a US store, a UK store, an Australian store, and they don't carry the same products all over the place. So we're looking at the US one, which sometimes ships mostly global, depending on the product, of course. So they're below, but don't look at them yet. We're going to get to them. So just hello to a couple of channel members as well. Andy Cowley, Cooley says that he's going to be back, so we have saved a spot for you. Big Dan there, he's in the house as well. M0TVT says hello to you, Tio.
Hello.
Steve is here. Hello, Steve. I hope you're well. And we have Richard
That's
as
Steve.
well. The other Steve. There's so many Steves in amateur radio, isn't there? It's
Not
just
enough.
Not enough Steves?
No, I mean,
Need to,
it's not like Jason's. This place is thick with Jason's.
That is true. There are a lot of Jasons. Jody says credit card is at DEFCON 2 ready to go. So that is good to know. John says that we're sneaky. Now I did buy a radio during the week, and for those that know, don't say it in the chat, because channel members would know, because there was a post that went out to channel members with a few different updates on the channel, including the and Patreons as well, for what radio that was. So that's arriving soon, and we'll do a video on that. But that was one that needed disclosure before it was purchased. So. But anyway,
that cut
that's
into
on the
your
way.
Dayton trip. That cut into your Dayton budget, yeah.
Well, it does cut into the Dayton budget, so we'll see. The problem is the Dayton budget is I don't know. I posted to a couple of you guys about how much that was going to cost. It was pretty expensive. So
Yeah.
anyway, we'll see what happens with that. We don't have an idea on what's going to go on with that, but. Let's start off with some of these deals. Now, that's not one of them, by the way, but we'll come back to these. Now,
That's like Marine VHF, isn't it? That's not a ham radio.
Yeah. Well, I searched for ham radio, and that's the first thing that came up on
Well,
top of the
it's
sponsored
sponsored.
list.
They paid to be there. Here,
Yeah.
buy this thing that you won't like.
Yeah. I mean, it
See?
doesn't look that bad, does it? Looks all
No,
right.
but it's probably not the right frequencies. That's why I was saying you won't like it. I mean,
No.
it's probably a fantastic radio, but if you try to, get on 146.5 or program in a repeater, good luck.
Yep.
Does that mean
Yep.
something rude? Did I just really like make an Australian faux pas?
Not really. No, I don't think
This
that means
thing?
anything. No, I don't think so.
Because I know there's the whole like this thing versus this thing.
Oh
and
yeah, definitely.
But we
Definitely.
don't do either of those two things over here.
But see if you. Oh,
This
hang on
this
a minute.
thing.
Yeah, but see if you do this, then you're basically saying up yours to yourself, aren't you? Is that what?
Well, so
Or do you do
this
it
is
the other
like
way around.
peace, or this is
Peace.
like I'm so cool. Look at me.
Yep. And then the other way around is on your
Yeah.
bike.
Up yours.
Okay, so on
On your
that
bike.
note, on that note, so yes, I did a community post on YouTube with and Twitter and a few other places with the sort of a top 10 list of things. There's lots of stuff on Amazon. This is just some of the stuff that I found, which I thought was pretty handy for people, and
Well,
stuff
you've done
that
a
I've
review
actually
on some of this
reviewed.
stuff too. Also, yeah.
Stuff that I've reviewed, stuff that I've got, stuff that you've reviewed as well.
Yeah.
And the first one, you'll notice this, and the first thing that you should do is this.
Right.
Ew. But this,
Well, they fixed it. I think.
They did fix it. This is the TalkPod A36 Plus. Now, I'll put a link into the chat. Obviously, it's also in the description as well. This radio, they have fixed it up and it is clean now. Now, the reason that it is in here is because it's not a bad radio for GMRS. Like even the original radio was clean on GMRS, and I think it was certified for GMRS too, didn't it? Wasn't it by the FCC?
It's a GMRS radio. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a ham radio. It can be unlocked to work on ham bands, so you can do both ham and GMRS and some other bands, but it wasn't supposed to do that.
Correct. So it's a GMRS radio, 8 watts out. It does airband pretty well. It's not too bad for the price. A lot of people have got one of these for that. But as you mentioned, you can still do the unlock. I think it's holding the PTT button and pressing number 8 while turning it on unlocks the radio. Now, that then allows you to transmit on ham radio on 2 meters. And before, the old model, which was the 5-watt version, was dirty on VHF. It had harmonics on the second and third harmonic, I think. But now with the 8-watt version, that's actually fixed, and it is completely clean. It is because you know how sometimes you'll get when you test, and we're going to actually show you a product on how you can test your radio later here on that you can get from Amazon. But sometimes you'll get some radios that will have those little spurs, but this one doesn't have any at all. So they took the feedback on from a couple of us. You did a video, I know, and I did a video, a couple of others on fixing it. And they fixed it. So yeah, that's not a bad little radio. I know someone also bought this. They work at an airport too, and they use this to listen to the aircraft rather than using their expensive radio. I think their expensive Icom to do it. Cooley says, just don't like the color. You can get this 8-watt version in the black as well, I think, which is
it
this
comes
one.
in black and clear. I don't know if they did the
No.
clear for this 8-watt version yet.
No, I haven't seen the clear in the 8-watt version. So yes, they've got the black, they've got the green, and I assume that eventually they will do the clear version. So if you're looking at this, again, I'll put the link in there. This one is the 8-watt version, so just keep an eye out for that, and not the 5-watt, because the 5-watt is the problematic one. Unless you just want to use it for GMRS, and then it's perfectly fine for either. So
Yeah, so you tested this and it came out clean on VHF, UHF, but what was the power output on it?
the power output wasn't exactly 8 watts; it was about 7.1 watts.
Right.
So yeah, there's the differences between the two. So, and the other thing it does do is, I noticed this S meter. So it's actually got a much better signal strength meter. Yeah, and it's a lot more responsive than the previous one. It also has a higher battery capacity. the model that they sent me, the 8-watt version, didn't have the higher battery capacity, but if you buy it off Amazon, it does come with a 3200 milliamp hour battery as well. And everything on this thing is USB-C. Like, it's just ridiculous. So yeah, that's the TalkPod. A lot of people hate this radio. I wonder if they hate this radio more than the Baofeng. I guess that's a hard thing to do.
Well, I mean, the Baofeng's had a longer time to be hated.
That is true. That is true.
I mean, we're at years of hatred on the Baofeng, and this thing's only been around for
12 months,
I don't know.
something like that. Yep.
Yeah, maybe a
second
little
off
less.
the list. Second off the list is this Sharry Pi hat. Now, what is this good for, Steve?
This will actually plug into your Raspberry Pi is the easiest way to do it. But it will also, I mean, you can plug it into something with USB cables and have fun with it that way. But this will get you onto All-Star. And there's a little tiny radio in here and enough software and hardware to get it converted over to USB connection. And then you can take an analog radio and talk around the world with it.
So I've done a video on using HamVoIP and All-Star to set up an All-Star node. You've got one. You use one.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have it running at the moment, but you have it in the car, don't you?
I did when we were driving around Dayton together. We were playing on a couple of different All-Star nodes. You were playing on the radio. I was driving, so just before anybody yells at me.
Well, I was talking to myself, wasn't I? So
yeah.
So yes, the Sharry Pi Pi hat. This is basically, yeah, it just plugs into your Raspberry Pi. So you load the image up on your Raspberry Pi. Now I've got a Raspberry Pi 4, but you can do it on a 2 or 3 because they also have images for that. So if you've got an old Pi that's doing nothing, you can buy one of these.
I like how you're shipping that to my address.
Did you notice that? Did you?
I did.
I'm just putting a disclaimer in the chat. I'm trying to do 65,000 things at once.
Jody, I have a video on how to build the hardware, but I don't have a video on doing any of the setup. Do you have a video on setting this thing up? It's not difficult. It's just not easy either.
So for All-Star, yes. So the video that I did is mainly around the setup of the software, so setup of the image. So if you've got a video on how to set up the hardware, you should post that into the chat, and people can watch your video on setting up the hardware, and then they can go back over to my channel and watch setting up the software. So.
And this one, I don't think you actually need to build. I think this one comes built. The one that I did was the kit.
Yes. So the ones that I've built together are the kits, but this one comes built. You basically plug in your there's 2 USB ports, one for an audio device, audio SA818 device, and the other one I think is for power. It's got COM on there, but I think that's mainly just for power. And all of your radio, basically this has a radio. It's got a little radio transceiver chip in here that transmits and receives. You program it up so that it transmits on whatever frequency, and I think this one's a UHF one. Yep, 420 to 450. So pick a free frequency in there, hook up an antenna, and then there's your node, and you configure it. Can configure it, and all the information on how to configure it is here. There's the software to pick your frequency and your CT/CSS tones and everything else that you need as well to get started. Mike says that he's 2 OM for All-Star. We could always learn something using our videos. Hopefully they're easy to understand. That's the whole point, is to try and teach people new things. Don says that Short Jason has a video on it.
Right. He'd take offense if you called him Little Jason.
Whoops. So to bundle with that, because obviously if you don't have a Pi, then you can also get a Raspberry Pi 4 as well.
Yeah, so, these prices have come back down to not stupid.
They have. So
and a Pi 4 Pi 5s the other day, which is overkill for All-Star.
So yeah, so this is a 4 gig version. You won't need anything more than this, because even this is overkill for All-Star. But I haven't tested a Pi 5. I don't think they've even got an image for a Pi 5 yet.
If you don't have a Pi, get a 5 if they have the image for it. If they don't, get the 4. But if you've got an old 2 laying around, like Hayden said earlier, put it back into service, give it a job to do.
Yeah, All-Star's a lot of fun.
But I wouldn't
It's
buy
pretty,
a 2 today.
No. But yeah, All-Star's fun. And you can link to all sorts of repeaters all worldwide. A lot of people are saying, "What's All-Star?" Actually, probably should bring that up and just show you quickly. So if you go to allstarlink.org, this brings up the All-Star Link page. If we go to the list of nodes, there's literally like thousands, I think, now of nodes, and they've all got node numbers, and you can all dial them, a bit like Echolink or IRLP, and you can talk all around the world. I can search for yours, and there's yours there, which is offline at the moment. It's not green.
Shocker! It's been offline for a long time.
Look at that last scene. That was the day. Yeah, you must have turned that off as soon as I got out of the car.
I did. Yeah. Well, anytime the car turned off, it turned off.
That is true. It did.
So 45 Auto in the chat is mentioning, where is the stupid, not stupid line? So I met this fine gentleman yesterday at the Houston Hamfest. Good to meet you in person. And if you're at a Hamfest and somebody has like a 10-pack of Pi 2s for $5, grab them. If you're tight on space, sell them. If you don't have any, get a Pi 4.
You're going to use them at some point, aren't you? Because I've got a couple there on the shelf still, and I haven't even done a video on this yet. We need to do a video on that. So I've got a Pi set aside. Yeah, I know. It's all me.
02W for the WPSD dashboard, or we can do Pi-Star on that one.
And here's another version of it. This one's kit for hams. Another Sharry Pi hat. Again, just plugs into the Pi. So yes, and Norm's got to get his back up and running on the local repeater. So good stuff. Moving on to the next one is this one, the TID Radio TDH3. Have you seen this, or have you got one of these?
I've seen it. There should be one coming here shortly, and I think this is the one that's almost barely legal, like to the point where
barely legal. That's right.
On like a tiny SA, it might show up as illegal. You used this on a bigger service monitor, and how was it?
I did, and it is, as you mentioned, barely clean. It's, from what I could tell, I tested this on the Tiny SA, and I also tested it on my Spectrum analyzer, and it was about 3 dB, out.
Over the line or under the line?
So 3 dB over the line on the Tiny SA, and it was about 2 dB on the Spectrum analyzer. So
is that within the margin of error?
Well, probably. I mean, there's the when I hooked this up to the Tiny.
Nice.
When I hooked this up directly to the Tiny SA, there was pretty much almost no loss whatsoever, because I had it plugged directly into the load and then into the Tiny SA. But plugged into my Spectrum analyzer, the HP, the big one that I've got, I did have a tail of coax, which is probably about 1 meter long. Now, I wouldn't imagine that would have an awful lot of loss, but that would account for why it looked like it was slightly better on that monitor. But the fact that both of them were within a dB would indicate that it's pretty close. But yeah, it's I don't think that there's error there. I think that that's pretty accurate. So, but yes, this radio I do like because it is small. It also, you can use their Bluetooth app to program it on the fly, so you can do it really quickly. You don't need to sort of do about 20 button presses to do it. Comes with a couple of batteries. Everything is USB-C, so you don't have a charger that you need to plug into the mains. You just you can see there that their charger has a USB-C port on the back.
See, this is smart. This is one of the things that bugs me. We've got USB-C, yeah, only for charging and only if you plug it directly into the battery. And we still have a wall wart, and then you still need the programming cable. No, you don't have USB-C. This one does.
This one does. This has got charging USB-C, but it also has USB-C in the side, so you can program it directly through Chirp. So you don't need a what do you call them?
The AIOC board?
The AIOC board, or you don't need anything else special. You just need USB-C straight into the side, and you don't even need the Kenwood K connector. It's already got the programming port in there, so that's handy for what it is. So you can just plug it straight in and away you go. Don says AIOC is a sound card. It is, and it also is a programming cable too. So
it depends on your radio. If your radio has the built-in COM port chip in the radio instead of in the cable, then yeah, you can't use this to program the radio because you can't do serial to serial. I still think there's a way.
Oh, I think TO's Starlink has dropped some packets. But yeah, no, that's right. So this has got it built in. You disappeared for a second.
Am I back now?
Yes, the satellite went behind the cloud.
I hope it gets better this week. It's going to be hard.
Yeah. So this is So this is tiered. Again, I did a check out my channel. I did a review not that long ago. It was only a couple of days ago. It's pretty easy to work out how to operate as well. So that's the tiered radio H3, and there's the frequencies that it receives from as well. Now, next up is one of these. Have you got one of these?
I do actually have that specific one.
Yep. So this is a PowerPole distribution splitter, and I am slowly moving everything over in the shack here to PowerPoles because it is just so much easier than having all of these different random connectors, right?
Yeah, I have that one. I like it because it's got 8 ports and it's also fairly compact. Usually you don't get them that compact with the fuses. You can get them more compact than that without fuses, but I want fuses.
Now this is desk mounted, isn't it? It's not like you can't put it in a rack or anything like that. Can you screw it down?
Got hook and loop on the back, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. So it's yes,
Yeah.
I see. So double-sided tape. Yeah, I have something slightly different to this. I've got a 5-port one, not this exact model, but yeah, I have a 5-port one, which I use here. Do you get all of the fuse? Do you get all the extra Anderson power poles and the fuses and everything?
I think so. I've had this thing for like 3 or 4 years.
Let's have a look. There's lots of different ones as well. If you want more of them,
I have
this
the
was just
Senza High one also.
Yeah, this was just a cheapy one.
WinCamp makes good stuff though. I've been impressed with every
Yeah.
WinCamp product I've had, except for, and I don't know if it's their fault, but I think it's their fault. They have a cage for the ICOM 705,
Mhm.
and then they have a right angle adapter
Mhm.
to mount an antenna on the IC 705
Yep.
as well. And the
I've
two
got one of
things are
those. Yep.
completely incompatible with each other. So they had to make another one. The RC1 is the one that doesn't work with the ARC 705. And then the RC2 does work with the ARC 705.
Product description will include 8 sets of power pole connectors and fuse to save your cost.
But like I've
yeah,
got the WinCamp battery for the 818. I've got the WinCamp power pole adapter for the Yaesu 818. So they've been around for a long time.
I have the WinCamp, that right angle bracket that you spoke about. I don't have the cage, but yeah, they do have
the second
quite a bit going on here. Yeah. So, there's the 818.
And then that
this
bottom
is really
one is the one that doesn't work.
Yeah, this is really cool. Actually, while we're here, we may as well post this one in because I've got something similar that was actually 3D printed, but this is for the 818, 817. There's a little on the back here. There we go, little DC plug, and this plugs directly into the back of your 818, 817. Use that single screw to screw it into the earth lug on the back of the radio, and then you get power poles that you can use to power your radio off, which is much better than that little plug.
An aluminum case on the outside, and then when that DC jack on the back is actually a printed circuit board. It's a black printed circuit board.
I'm pretty sure that you can 3D print these things as well, but I mean, what's that? $23. if you could 3D print it at home, definitely. But
Yeah.
cool. Moving on to whatever was next. So this is a
Ooh,
classic. This will be
good
real
one.
quick. Yeah, this is just
Oh,
the reason I put.
wait. I don't know if you read the description, but this says it's for adults, so none of our viewers can have this.
Does it? Oh no, that
Yeah.
just ruined literally what I was going to say next. I was going to
Oh,
say
sorry.
if you're starting out in ham radio, or you've got some young person in ham radio, you could give them this radio, but apparently you can't.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
So this is basically a Baofeng UV5R, which is spectrally clean. It's been proven to be spectrally clean from Radio Oddity. Actually, I think usually sell this radio.
Yeah.
And it's $24. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's a UV5R. Everyone knows what a UV5R is, but it's just compliant. So,
Yeah. And these things at that price, they're good for, making a fox hunting transmitter out of. They're good for like sticking as a receiver for APRS plugged into a Pi Zero with an AIOC board. And I realized I just did a whole lot of, acronyms and letters and stuff, but it's just it's a cheap little receiver and it'll transmit to, and, like consider it disposable at 23 bucks, 24
yeah.
bucks.
Get one, throw it in the glove box of the car, put one in your overnight pack if you're going walking, just wherever you can think of. So,
and they work.
You can also get a 6-pack. Look at that. Now a 6-pack.
Imagine how cool you'd be at the ham club with a 6-pack on these on your belt.
Does a 6-pack mean something different over there? Because a 6-pack is a 6-pack of beer over here.
Yeah. We have 6-pack of beer. We've got 6-pack abs. We got 6-pack radios. We got everything in 6-packs, man.
Imagine walking into a ham club with a 6-pack of beer. You've got a 6-pack, and you've also got a 6-pack of Baofeng GT5Rs. You'd just be the ultimate.
I think those three things can't be together in a ham fest at the same time. You'll never see a licensed ham radio operator with a 6-pack and a 6-pack and a 6-pack.
Is there? Yeah. And out of those three, we all know which one everyone's missing, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, most ham radio operators bring the keg.
Yeah, exactly. Oh dear! But at least you could have two of the three, right?
Right.
You'd have a 6-pack of beer and a 6-pack of GT5Rs. So yes, get those. Now you've got one of these, right?
I do. I'm actually using it right now. It's running the lights.
There you go. That is a perfect example of what you can do with this system. What are you running? You're running the lights. You're running the Starlink.
Yeah. No, I'm not running the Starlink on this because there's no easy way to turn the Starlink off at night, and there's no reason to have it on when I'm sleeping and consuming 5 amp hours of battery every hour all night long. I just wake up to a dead battery. What's the point of that? This battery is currently
Theo
my house
yawning
battery.
in the background, just by the way. Yeah. Keep going.
Putting her to sleep, talking about electricity. So this will run the furnace fan. This will run the fantastic fans in the roof that help bring air circulation in. It runs the igniter on the refrigerator. It will run the hot water heater. I did a live stream with this battery in particular, and I tried my best to make it as like insanely stupid crazy as possible. So I ran I think I ran a radio, an amp, 2 laptops, and all the lights and my internet connection all off of this battery to see how long I could do it before it died. It took like 5 hours.
Now that's so. How much current were you drawing out of that over 5 hours? What was it, 20 amps or something like that?
I mean, like simple math, 100 amps. 100 amp battery divided by 5 hours would be 20 amps per. But yeah, Don's right. It won't run the air conditioner. But I do have an inverter that I could use, and one of these days I might try that. I don't know. But the way that I had it set up was the power that was going into the DC side, I had a measuring device on, and the power that was going into the AC side, I either didn't have a measuring device or it was a separate measuring device. So I had to, the AC would run 5 minutes. I don't know.
Because
the inrush, the startup is the hard part on the AC.
Yeah, and that's on your inverter too, not on the battery, right?
Yeah. So switch it over to soft start. I mean, you would do some work if you wanted to run battery powered AC And we'll probably do that on the RV channel eventually.
And you can parallel and series these up too if you need extra current or extra voltage.
Yep.
The 100 and they're lightweight because they're LiPo 4 batteries. They're not lead acid, so they are lightweight, so you can carry them around. Do they have a meter in the top? Does this one have a meter in the
This
top?
one
No, it
doesn't,
doesn't.
no. But if you do have one with a meter in the top, that meter consumes power while it's running. Not a lot, but it's
Mm,
enough to drain the battery if you're not watching it.
yeah, and as you say, the other things with LiPo 4 too is that you'll get your constant current for the duration, and then all of a sudden, when it's flat, it'll just like this.
It's off.
But if it
Yep.
does do that, they've got a BMS system in them. So what will happen is it'll actually protect the battery from killing itself, basically.
Yeah,
So
and
they're
so
very hard to kill themselves.
Big John's Ham Shack says the 100 amp hour mini is a good battery, and that's the one you just pulled up. It's the same price. So unless you have a specific reason to get the big one, get the small one, and the small one will fit in one of those Apache cases. So you can make a nice little, really long-lasting battery into an Apache case. Like it'll
Mm,
power your ham, for like 5 or 6 park activations.
mm. Oh, that's the thing. So looking at this, if you're trying to use this for POTA, it's probably like how big is the mini? Like physically,
It's
like
two
physically
thirds
how
the
big?
size. It's like this big.
Hold on, hold on.
It's
There we
it's
go.
it's
There.
two thirds the size of the full size. And if you know batteries, the
Okay.
full size is a Group 26. And actually, I have a mini, not from them, from another company, sitting here on my table. And uh, yeah, I mean it's the size of a small
G'day,
Apache
Brent.
case for Harbor Freight. Hey, Brent.
Yeah. So, but this would be
Different Brent.
probably overkill if you were just using it for POTA, right? You'd get away with something like the 50 if you didn't
Yeah, I
have the
mean
budget for the 100.
it depends on what you're running. I mean, so like for my normal POTA activations, I'll take a 10 amp hour battery and I'll run a 100-watt radio, and that'll last me through as much fun as I want to have out doing an activation, especially on sideband. You know how sideband works.
Yes, that's the key. Is that sideband? I mean, FT8. If you're going to run it down, probably a little bit quicker, but sideband, it'll just last ages and ages and ages and just keep going. You probably get
Yeah,
you probably get like 10, 20 activations if you were doing it for an hour, like,
yeah.
and it would still have
And
juice. So
a lot of times I take a QRP radio with me, so I'll
it's
run,
actually a good point.
a LifePo battery to do 10 watts, and I'll do it through like 3 or 4 activations on QRP. This thing, one of these 100 amp hour batteries on QRP, you probably never need to recharge it. And Jody is absolutely correct. Ear fatigue is greater than battery fatigue on SSB. Yeah, you'll get
Yeah,
tired of playing radio before you get tired of, wearing down the battery.
I was
Before
just
the
trying to
battery gets
see.
tired.
So, what have we got? So the 50, which is the smaller one, weighs 11 pounds. I was just seeing because they kind of look pretty much the same size footprint. The mini weighs. If I get to the specs at the bottom, no, 19 pounds. So the 50 is a lot lighter. It's about almost half. Well, not quite half, but just
I thought you
almost
said it
half.
was 11 pounds for the mini.
It was 11. No, it was 11 pounds for the 50,
Oh,
the
okay.
50 amp
Okay.
hour
Yep.
version. So 19 pounds for the mini. And for the big boy, it is 25 pounds, which is still pretty light. Like it's one hand carry, right?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, they're some pretty sweet batteries. I know the Ape has also done a bit on these too. So moving on, the next one. Have you got one of these, or have you seen one of these before?
I have seen one, but I don't have one with me. I've got one at my Club
Okay.
Shack up in Wisconsin.
So I've used these antennas for years and years and years. They are a great dual band base station antenna. This one is the smallest, the Diamond X30. What's that, 4.5 feet tall. So that's what, 1.2 meters, 1.25 meters. Basically, it's a collinear vertical antenna. And it comes with a little mounting pole here at the bottom. You put some clamps there to mount to a vertical pole of your choice. 3 radials and nothing really to put together. It just comes as it is. This is a great way to extend your range on your on VHF and UHF. If you've got a handheld or if you've got a little mobile radio unit or something and you're looking for something to get a little bit more range, then this will do it perfectly for you. They have, so this is the smallest model. They've also got an X50, which is slightly longer than this. If you go to search for Diamond X50, you'll find it as well. I noticed that searching brand Diamond does not bring it up.
Yeah.
Diamond. Pretty sure if we go Diamond X50, so there's the X50, a little bit more expensive. Some of them have UHF connectors as well. Some of them have N connectors. So I think that this one has an N connector on the end of it as well. So just keep in mind with that. They'll handle 200 watts. There's also this one, which is the X200. This is the one that I would recommend if you've got, if you're not worried about how long it is. This is 8 foot long, but it is a great base station antenna. Let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you've got one of these. Jody says no seams in the. Oh yeah. Jody says no seams in the fiberglass tube to leak. That is correct. So the shorter models, the X50 and the X30 are single sections, but the X200 is a dual section. And you can see there that there is a little join here in the middle. So it comes in 2 sections. You basically open this up. There's a little screw in here and you put the top half of the antenna into the screw, little copper, like a thick copper wire into the screw, and then this has a sealant join here in the middle to stop the water from getting in. And generally what I like to do is I like to wrap around some additional sealant on the outside of this just in case, to make sure that no water can get in. A couple of 1s there in the chat for those that have these. They are great antenna from Diamond, similar to a Comet as well. Comet makes some like this, but yeah, you can get these off of Amazon. Was this the comment you were trying to put up that Firearm was talking about?
Yeah.
So
right when you were asking if people had one, he had already typed in that he does.
Yeah. M0TVT says similar to the V2000, which I have. So I've got a V2000 on the roof right now. It is a 6-meter version. I don't think they're available on Amazon. No, they're not. At least I don't think they are. Well, there's the base antenna. No, I don't think they are. No, actually, while I've just saw that there, have you seen one of these? Have you had one of these before?
I've seen Discones before. I don't have one. A lot of people use those for scanners.
Yes, so these are great for scanners. If you want a wideband design, 25 megs to 3 gigahertz, and it can also transmit from 50 megahertz up to 1.2 gigs as well. 6-meter tunable for transmit. So these are actually a pretty cool antenna. I should get one of these one day and actually do a proper review. These things have been around for years, decades almost.
You need a dedicated 6-meter antenna for that. Also, not antenna, 6-meter tuner for that, because most of your HF tuners don't tune 6 meters.
Unless you've got them built into like a 7300 or something like that, that'll tune 6 meters.
Yeah.
But yeah, these things have been around for decades. Have a look at this though. Maximum range, 264,000 feet.
I thought that, I can't read it from here. I thought it said 26 to 4,000 feet, but yeah, that's a lot of feet. Around the world.
So this has a maximum communication distance of 50 miles.
Nice.
Very good. Jody has the D3000N, works great for scanning and also transmitting 900 megs for Meshtastic. That's actually a good idea.
Nice.
We were talking about Meshtastic behind the scenes, weren't we?
We were.
We need to get into that and work out what that's all about because I'm completely new to it. So, Okay.
By the time we both get into it, it will have nodes all around the world, and we'll be able to talk to each other on Meshtastic.
Probably. Don says you aren't going to pull up the Solarcon 99 that Chuck reviewed off Amazon. We can. We'll add to. Yeah, just let me just star that so that we can have a look at that after. Next up, we've got this. Have you got one of these?
I do not. But didn't you get one of those at Dayton? Isn't that where I saw you get that? Or did you say you had one?
No, I had one. So I've got not this exact adapter kit. This one is a nickel-plated adapter kit. I've got a silver-plated one, which I bought from RF Parts, which I thought I had down here. I was just looking at the bench to see where it is, but it's not there. Anyway, these are great because you've got basically two of every type of connector. So you got PL259, you got SMA, you've got TNC, you've got BNC, you've got N connector, and what's that other one? I can't quite tell what that other one is. I think that's TNC as well, isn't it? No, what's that other one? Oh, FME. Sorry, FME. And then you got the male plugs, and then you got the female plugs. You got SO239, female SMA and FME, and TNC, BNC, and N. And then you've got these little in the middle, these like little barrel adapter things. And what you do is you screw the little barrel into each side, and you can create whatever adapter you want. So if you want N to SO239, then you can put those in the middle. Now, these are not meant for like permanent.
Right.
Sorry, they're not. Is FME mini UHF? Anyway, the mini UHF. And it comes in this awesome little case. They're not meant to plug into like your antenna line or your radio permanently, although I have done that before for ages until I've actually bought an adapter specifically for it. But they're meant for like if you're testing antennas or something and you've only got a feed line that has PL259s on the end and you want to plug in an antenna plug in a radio that's got an N connector on the end, then you can adapt to it. So that is exactly right. Firearms, it's not permanent because then you have empty slots. I've come back to this and I've gone, what am I missing? Where is that adapter set gone? And then I've gone to the back of my radios and realized I plugged it in there and forgot about it. So, but yeah, these are really good.
There was a second one in the also column. Go down to where it says compare A to B to C. Right there. What's the clear plastic one?
That is slightly cheaper. Oh, not this one?
Doesn't have all the same adapters. That's the one. Yeah, it doesn't have all the same adapters.
That looks like it's got a lot more SMA connectors.
Yeah.
Couple of PL259s. But
different need.
Well, you might not need them all. So let me put that one in the chat too for those that are after something that's a little bit cheaper, because that's like 1/3 the price too. But they're very, very handy. So everyone should have those in their shack. Now, one of these. What can you do with one of these?
Oh, what can't you do with one of these? This is what all the big boy hams are using to test out their 2-meter radios to see if they're clean or dirty. But there's 1,000 other things you can do with it too.
Yeah, so basically it's a little spectrum analyzer in the palm of your hand. This one does up to a gigahertz or 960 megahertz. Smaller screen, 2.8-inch touchscreen. And it comes with all the calibration tools and a couple of
this one's not the Ultra. This is the regular one.
No,
I don't actually have the Ultra.
So this is the cheaper one from RSync. This is $66 for one of these. This will do your basic spurious emissions tests. Does this one have the generator in it? Do you know? I believe
so. It's like you can do a cyanide test in it.
You
Um,
can. Okay.
yeah, and you can do a lot of other
Um,
things in it
oh,
as
yes, it
well.
does. Yep. So it's got a small signal generator in it, and you can do a whole heap of stuff. You can connect it to your PC as well, so you can look at it on there rather than on the small screen. Um,
Radio direction
s-
finding.
so yeah, so that is the what is it, version one, or the just the normal Tiny SA. But the one I recommend and the one that I have is this
Okay.
one, is the Ultra. So
And
this
that one comes
is,
with the attenuator, which is what Chris was just saying in the chat.
yep. So you don't need anything else apart from this package with the attenuator to test radios with up to 25 watts. And this one will do up to 5.3 gigahertz in, what is it, ultra mode, I think it is. I think they call it.
Yeah, so the benefit of this one here is when you're doing like a 2 meter spurious emissions test, you can test the whole thing in one screen. I think
Hmm.
on the regular one, you can only test the first and second harmonic, but not the third or something along those lines.
Hmm. Yep. So it'll sweep through. Obviously the further frequency width that you have, it takes longer to do each sweep. But you can test all the way up to 5 gigs in that mode, and down to 100 kilohertz as well. Not only that, you can look at the spectrum and you can see all of the signals that are in a particular frequency range. I didn't realize that this model, I'm not sure about the previous model, but this one has a 3.5 millimeter jack on it. So you can actually plug this into a speaker and you can listen to whatever you're
Oh,
trying to look at on the
nice.
spectrum
So it's a
analyzer.
radio.
Pretty much, well, a receiver at least, yeah. I didn't even realize you could do that until I saw that and tested it out. And I was listening to FM radio as an
Nice.
example. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, so this one, yeah, comes with that little 25-watt adapter, so you can plug your little handheld straight into it and measure. And there's a couple of videos I think that I've done, Ape's done, you've done on how to do that, how to calibrate it, set it up. There's old mate plugged into his Mac, just looking at the spectrum.
Yep. I
Um,
mean, that's what I do all
and
day long.
exactly. And this is just the comparison table between the two. So obviously bigger screen, higher frequencies, better resolution, um, extra display points. Scan time is less as well. So, because you'll see, especially when Ape does radio testing, he'll be like, right, we're going to transmit, and we got to wait for it, and then you speed up the video, and it's like doing all the points as it averages out, right? So,
Yeah. So Adam's looking for a dummy load, which is a comment right above that one.
okay, we'll come back to Brian's. A good dummy load for a HT. Any ideas on that? As in a through line dummy load to be doing testing with, or just a dummy load?
Well, I guess explain the difference between a through line and a not through line.
So you've got a dummy load here which is not through line. So through line will have a connector on both sides, which means that the signal will pass through the dummy load and be attenuated by the dummy load. So this one here is not one of those. For instance, this one's got a PL259 on the end of it. It's rated from DC, so 0 basically, megahertz or kilohertz, or 0 in frequency to 1 gigs, excuse me, up to 50 watts. So that would just be to plug straight in to do testing with, in place of an antenna. And then you've got, is any of these through line? Maybe if I search for through line. Does Amazon not have through line dummy loads? Maybe not. Let me, you can see here though, in this one, no, where am I? I'm lost.
So Jody's saying search for attenuator. So like a 0 dB attenuator, or what's the power coming out the other end of it?
There we go. Thank you very much. So yes, so you could input. I don't know if this one's bi-directional. Some of them will only work in one direction, so you can put power into one side and it will come out the other side attenuated by the amount of the attenuator or dummy load, so 20 dB in this case. To do measurements using a tiny SA, you need 40 dB, don't you? Minimum.
Yes.
So that's
for 5 watts.
That's for 5 watts.
Yeah, I think for maybe even up to 10, it'll still work. But don't quote me on that. Check out H channel for that.
Yeah. Yes, because 40 dB, 40 dBm is 10 watts. 37 dBm is 5 watts. So this will do up to 10 watts, but you got to be careful because the reason why you use this is you don't want to blow the front end of the tiny SA up, because this thing can only handle so much power into it. There it is, plus 10 dBm RF. So you can only put so much power into the front of this. So what you use one of these to reduce the power going into that, and then you offset that in the menu so that your reading comes out correct. That model mentions bidirectional in the description. Yeah, cool. So yeah, you can get one of these as well. I'll put a link to this in the chat to go along. But that Ultra already comes with one of those in, so you don't need to worry about that in that particular package that we showed earlier. Now, did you know that you can get Yaesus on Amazon?
I did.
You can get the FT65. This is probably one of the, if you don't want to get a cheaper Chinese radio, but you want like a mid-tier handheld that's a known name, Yaesu, with a warranty, then one of these is probably the way to go, right? An FT65. Dual band, rugged radio. I don't think it's waterproof, but this is probably up there with the list of decent radios to buy for your first radio, right?
The FT65 is a decent radio to buy for your second or third or fourth radio too. It's actually a really good radio.
It's only single receive as well, but yeah. I mean, there's not much more to say about this apart from the fact that it's a good alternative to getting some of the other cheaper units like the Baofangs of the world. Now, have you seen this? Now, I don't have one of these, but this is
nice.
This is like
Baofeng's like, you're not going to take our fame and fortune from us.
This is Baofeng's answer to the Quancheng UVK5. It's like a Baofeng and a Quancheng came together and had a child, and this is what came out. So I have no idea if this is like the Quancheng as far as hackable is concerned. It's pretty much a Quancheng case, but it's got a Baofeng, the newer Baofeng screen, the blue screen. Honestly, I don't know about you, but I actually like this screen. Yeah, it's quite a step up from what they've had. Now this is $27 at the moment, so like you probably can't really go wrong. I should get one of these. I don't think Baofeng will send me one, but I would like to get one of these to have a bit of a play around.
It looks so big in that person's hand.
It does. I don't think it's that big.
No.
It pretty much has a lot of
screen size is bigger than
of...
the K5 screen size, though, isn't it?
Yes. Yep.
So it's not even the same case. It just looks pretty close.
And it says tri-band, 2 meters, 220 and 440. But it's got a menu system. Let me zoom this up a little bit more. Can we see in the photo? It's got a menu layout similar to the TalkPod. So it's like they took the TalkPod, the Quancheng, and the Baofeng and all merged them into one.
Ryan, I don't think I needed to know that. 2 meter aquatic mobile. Marine VHF again.
How many QSOs are you having in the shower? So I have no idea if this thing's hackable or if you can like program it with the K5 firmware. I don't reckon you can. I think that it's just the
I'd say
same as
probably not.
yeah. I think that it's just the same as a normal Baofeng, pretty much. Someone said, I believe it's a fake, but it works great. Fair enough. So get yourself a what is it? A Baosheng or a Quan Feng.
Right. TalkPod UVK5 plus. No, it's a UV 36K5 plus. Wow.
Oh dear. So the other thing is that I did see is, let me go back here.
Oh, Lido's on Amazon now. Check him out.
Yes, Lido mounts are on Amazon. So these are where you can get cup holder mounts and every sort of mount for your radio.
The seatbelt mounts, yeah.
Yep. So here's one here that goes into the cup holder for an HT if you want one of those. So they are on Amazon. Obviously, there's lots of different ones. So I'll just put a link here to.
So while you're doing that, I was corrected the other day. It's not Quan Shang, it's Quan Shun. So it would be the Baoshun. Poshun.
Honestly, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because we're all going to sound different, aren't we?
Yeah, I pronounce it American.
It's a bit like
wrong, like solder.
It's a bit like Short Jason. He pronounces it 5 different ways in the same video.
In the same video, yep. That's how he can offend 5 different people.
Look at this cover photo for Lido mounts was actually taken from. So I say Lido, you say Lido. So
yeah,
this was taken from an Australian photo. Australian, look at that.
Don is correct. That word is pronounced ocean, but I say Wuxen, and I know I'm wrong.
So you can get ham radio mounts here for the FTM 100 for the just random HTs, the FTM 400, 300. They've got all sorts of mounts.
And they're not even priced all that bad either.
No, they're good. I've got one of these for the Kenwood, which I haven't got into the car yet, which I will be doing soon. Where's the mount that I've got? I know.
You've had that thing for like 8 months.
Yep, I'm a real slacker. They do ICOMs, they do Baofengs, all sorts of mounts. So suction cup, and they're good quality as well. You can adjust them to almost any situation that you're going to be using it in the car, like any sort of angle, all that sort of stuff. Of course, the only problem with using a cup holder is at some point you're going to want to put a cup in there, aren't you?
We don't drink and drive in America, sorry.
Sure. Now, is there anything else on Amazon that you can think of that we have missed? Let us know in the chat or...
So they were asking about mobile radios, and your thumbnail had the Anytone or the Anytone 578, I think that is what that is, or 778.
Yeah, or the Retevis
RT95, and I've got quite the history with this radio right here. Yeah, it's a good radio.
Yes,
I screwed it up. I finally have it back. Now I got to turn it back on again.
So these two, so they're pretty much exactly the same radio. The Retevis RT95 or the Anytone, it doesn't matter which one. They're pretty much the same.
It's also a Stryker, and another company has labeled this, labeled this thing. And
I really like this radio. I think this is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. You had some issues with it though. Well, when I as you mentioned,
caused those issues.
Yeah. So yeah, mobile radio, 25 watts output.
Yeah, last time I looked, it was like $6 a watt. It looks like it's cheaper now.
You can flip the screen upside down as well. So if you mount it in a weird spot in your car, you can flip it. There you go. Flip it upside down, 180 degrees. The audio sounds really good. The microphone has a speaker in it as well. So you can have audio coming out the mic and the speaker in the radio. Sorry, the speaker in the microphone and the speaker in the radio. Or you can have it just coming out of the speaker in the radio or just coming out of the speaker in the mic, which is pretty cool. This would be also good, as you said, for APRS, if you don't blow it up, right?
Right. And I will continue to unlock that secret sauce.
Yes.
Because it's my own personal goal now.
So this is kind of a step up for those that want to go above and beyond a little handheld radio. Geez, I've got a coupon. Does everyone have a coupon, or is that just me? Because I can apply a $15 coupon to that as well. So what's that, $115?
You're special.
I must be. So so that's the Retevis RT95, and it's also the Anytone and also the Striker. Lots of different names for it. We've both done reviews on that radio too. Don says the Solarcon A99. That is a 10-meter CB antenna, isn't it?
It's made by Anytone specifically, but a lot of people put their name on it. The radio we just looked at, the Retevis RT95.
So this
but Retevis does have better support than Anytone does, because I reached out to Anytone and they never replied.
Yeah. Now I've heard a bit about this. I haven't seen Chuck's video. I need to go and watch it. But I've heard that this antenna is a pretty good antenna for CB and 27 megs.
So it's tunable, which is something I learned from Don the other day when he was talking about it before. It'll go 10 and 12 as well as 11. Oh, he says 20. Works from 10 to 20. Nice.
So they were out of stock of these for ages, and I just stopped looking for them because they were out of stock. I wonder if this would ship to... Well, it will ship to you. I can ship it to TO.
Free shipping. Go ahead. I'll get it next week.
But then are you going to send it to me?
Yes, I will. I promise.
I believe
Ham's
you.
honor.
Oh,
Even
you
my
all
wife's
heard it.
giving me the stink eye for that.
Does she think that Ham's honor is not an actual thing?
No, she just knows I won't ship it to you.
Yeah.
No, I'll just have it in the truck when I pick you up at the airport.
Let me just put in my... I want to put in my real address here and just see if it'll actually ship to me. No, it won't. Maybe I need to... I don't know what the pack up length of that is, but I might need to see if I can get my mail forwarder to ship that.
Jody's gifting out memberships. What we got?
Thank you,
Ryan
Jody.
Got one. Mike got one. Iowa Hank got one. KO4 AFL Steve got one. Steve, you need to give that back.
I pressed the wrong one.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. And Jody has been a member for 8 months, so he didn't buy. You haven't bought anything, Jody. You haven't bought anything off of our stream today. We need to fix that. So thank you, Jody. That one goes for too long. So that's the Solarcon A99. I need to figure out how to get that here.
What do you think of the Zygu radio? Uh-oh, the Traveling Trucker wants to know what I think of the Zygu. Which Zygu?
Hold on. While we wait to figure out which Zygu. Don says check out the TYT 9000.
Oh, this came up the other day. I just saw this the other day, yeah.
220.
Monoband
220.
Because somebody had hacked this. This radio has the cutout in the back for a DB9 pin connector, or DE9, DB9, depending on which part of the world you're from and how angry you are when I say it wrong.
DB9.
So you can make it into an all-star node with the RIM4 Linko board and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah.
Nice. I don't mind these. They're kind of like these monobanders, a bit like Elinco have done, right? TYT seem to do a couple of them as well.
Yeah.
Andy Cowley, 33 months. Wow. Thank you, Andy.
Nice. Oh, this is the... Sorry, I totally messed up on this. This is the 220 to 260 megahertz radio. They do make another version of this radio that has the hole for the Remolenko. If you wanted, I guess you could
Oh,
still do it
right.
with this radio. You have to see the backside of it.
Which there are no photos of the
Of
backside.
course not. Maybe I'm thinking
No.
of a different radio. Anyway, the traveling trucker's asking about the G90 radio. Yeah, that radio is not water resistant. Don't even think
Water
it.
resistant.
It
Water
may,
resistant level. Water resistant.
maybe a light fog. It might resist a light fog.
The G90. Actually, I saw the G90 was popping up at the top of the screen
I think
for
this radio hits
$445.
this radio hits a definite sweet spot of price versus performance versus features. It's not it's not a high power radio. The display isn't beautiful. However, it is tiny and it has like the world's best tuner built into it. And it's actually the one that's currently sitting on my desk that I'm going to be using this week. Because I'm also testing out a battery that, because this is 20 watts, my battery can produce 8 amps DC power. So, ta-da, 20 watts.
So KM4 OOS says the tuner is amazing. Why is the tuner amazing? What can it tune?
Well, everybody says this thing can tune anything. And my friend K5ATA, Steve Goodgame, took this thing and hooked it up to a road sign. And it was like a, no fishing off the pier sign or something like that. And he tuned it up and made a contact on 20 meters.
I remember that video, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it is
so
a good
this will
tuner.
tune. So will this tune like more than 10 to 1? It's not like the 7300 where it's like only 3 to 1 and that's it.
Let me see if I can look it up. I think it's actually like 5 to 1, but the 7300
Yeah.
is 3 to 1, so it's still better.
Well, the 7300 will do 3 to 1, but it will do 10 to 1 if you use the emergency tuner in it as well. Don's right. 50
At half the
or-
power.
So this sort of shows how good this radio is and popular for 50 people to buy it in the last month. If you don't have, excuse me, if you don't have one of these, you need one of these. Also want to shout out to Chris, KI4WCO. I appreciate everything you do. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate you and everyone else watching. It is good to have you here on the stream. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that very much.
I'm busy digging in for the tuner. So it's
10 to 1 tuning
15 ohms to 250 ohms.
Right,
that's
so that
5
is
to 1 on
5
the
to 1.
250 side.
Yeah, or
And
yeah.
then 3 to 1 on the 15 side. So it'll go 3 to 1 down and 5 to 1 up. So yeah, depending on how you do your math, it's at least a 5 to 1 tuner.
Peter, doesn't the G90 have some minor overheating issues?
It does if you are really working it hard on FT8, but that's also true of every single radio on the market. I know of a friend of mine who fried his 7300 by running it full bore FT8. They do make a fan stand for this thing, which you can see as part of the combo there. 512 will cool it down. I have a video where I actually stick a temperature probe in it without the fan running and with the fan running, and she does get hot when you're chooching. Yeah.
But how long? Like you'd be pushing FT8 for a long time, right? I mean, my 7300, I've pushed that for FT8 at 100 watts for a while, and it's gotten warm, but it hasn't done any damage. But you probably don't want to leave it running CQ all day, right?
If you're contesting with it, if you're on it, if you're trying really hard to make as many contacts as possible, it will run too hot, and I don't recommend that. And it's also black, so if you're running it outside in the direct sunlight, it's going to get hot. John Henry's got a real quick question. When you go from tech to general, do you need to change your call sign? You do not, but you can. My technician level call sign was huge and unwieldy and ugly, and so I changed it by getting an extra license, which gives me this 2x1. But a lot of people can do, like your initials are JH, so you might be able to find like KD9JH as a general and get that call sign, and that's not going to have a lot of competition compared to like a 2x1 or a 1x2 call like mine, because mine was ridiculous. This is not special. This is just the one I got.
And some of you will pass your technician like I did, and then decide that you never ever want to change your call sign because it's too cool. Like mine's KD9 SSB. And then I got my general. I upgraded to my general, and I didn't change it because I wanted to keep that one because I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, that is a cool call sign, and that was just luck of the draw for you too. That was pretty
It
cool.
was. That was just it. Just appeared. Does anyone have any opinion on these? The President radios.
I have heard nothing bad about them.
Hmm. Neither have
Yeah, and
I.
changing your call sign is now $35. It used to be not $35.
I need to hit. The you and Steve, the Steves up. I need to upgrade to extra sometime soon. Once I do a little bit more study. That is
Whenever
the
you're
next.
ready.
That is the next goal. So yeah, President radios. What else are we going to look at on? Is there anything else that we've missed here on Amazon? Let us know. This is a 10 and 11 meter radio. Oh, I know one radio that we haven't looked at. That is the
10,
Anytone
10 and 12, but
AT.
not 11. Because there's not a little jumper inside to switch it.
That's right.
Is it three
Typed that
fives or
in wrong.
4 fives?
4 fives. 4 fives. I bought one of these radios and did a review on it. This is the Anytone AT555N. And this is a monoband. Well, no, sorry. Out of the box, it is a monoband radio, but there is a little way that you can make this work on 12 meters as well, and CB as well, 27 megs.
So there's a
cool
comment
radio.
in here. Well, it moved. KE8MWQ says he loves his call sign and will never change it. I didn't realize this, but Rolly's the one that turned me onto this. Rolly's call sign is ZL1BQD. You know, Zulu Lima 1 Bravo Quebec Delta. And if you're trying to say that when you're responding to somebody's CQ call, you tail off with Quebec Delta. And the only thing the person on the other end hears in the middle of that pile up is Quebec Delta. So he says, still ending Quebec Delta, and Rolly pops up. So like more syllables isn't necessarily a bad thing. And Rolly's also a master CW operator too.
Well, the other thing is for contests. So making sure that people can hear you in contests. There are some phonetics that sound better than others.
Yeah, so like mine is Kilo Mike 9 Golf, and I could say Kilowatt Mike 9 Golf. And I don't like saying kilowatt.
No. So Danny has a question, and he sent a £5 super chat.
Nice.
So thank you for the £5 super chat, Danny. Any recommendations for a good home base antenna that does airband as well as VHF, UHF, if there is such a thing? So
yeah,
we did kind of cover it earlier. There are probably two. Now, if you want to do VHF, UHF transmit, first of all, and you want kind of an antenna that will receive, probably one of these diamonds would work reasonably well. It's not an airband tuned antenna, but you still will be able to receive airband, especially if you're not that far away from the airport. It'll work really well. So that's linked below in the description. But probably one of these, which we also showed before, was the Discone. So this is a wideband Discone receive, 25 megahertz to 3 gigs, but it will also transmit 50 to 1200 megs as well. So you could use it for VHF, UHF. And I believe that Discones, I might be wrong, so I'm sure that someone will. I'm sure that someone will remind me in the chat. But I think the Discones have a high angle of radiation. So this should work, theoretically, pretty well on airband because all their aircraft are up above you in the sky, and it should receive them pretty well. I think that's correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably the Discone would be the choice there as a based antenna. Others might have some other suggestions in the chat for you as well. So thank you very much. Just having a look there. Anything else in the chat that you can see? Dan says make a quarter wave ground plane. That'll also work well. Again, a higher angle of radiation. Hey, Ben. Bye, Ben.
Right.
Dropping in. Don, $5 super chat. I never change my call from first issue through 4 upgrades, and my CW call weight is smaller than TO's.
So that's the
competition.
Thing. Well, yeah. Go ahead.
That's all right. We had connectivity issues.
Okay.
We had AT&T issues.
Right. So that's the thing. CW call weight is the amount of dits and dahs that you send, and Don is correct. His call sign is lower than mine because I'm sure he's checked.
CW
Yeah,
sucks.
Oh, what?
Oh, sorry, that was...
CW sucks.
It's all right, I'm just having fun with the soundboard again.
Nice.
Sorry,
So yeah,
what were you saying?
that means
Call
that
weight, yeah.
Don can send his call faster than I can send my call because his call has less symbols, I guess is the word you'd use in it. Dits and dahs.
So, Jody's saying the Omni X. Is that a... I guess that's not an antenna on... That's not an antenna on Amazon. But, yeah, okay, cool. Is there anything else, T.O., that you can think of that we haven't covered? Any standout radio or standout antenna? You know, you can buy 7300s as well off Amazon.
You can. And that's actually not a terrible price. And it's from ICOM Direct.
From Gigaparts. Ships from Gigaparts. I suppose if you've got an Amazon gift card
it is from Gigaparts. Huh.
I guess if you've got a gift card from a birthday or Christmas or something that someone's given you, then you
Yagis.
Then you can get a discount. Sorry, I'm trying to do 60,000 things at once.
I know. So I got two things for you when you're done with the
7300.
links. Don wants to see Yagis on Amazon. He says there's 2 meters and 6 meter Yagis out there. And then we should look up like some supplies, maybe some antenna kits, some radio kits, just plain old wire.
So let's go 2 meter, and notice I spelt it the American way. 2 meter Yagi.
METRE.
So what are we looking at, Don? Are we looking at
Tway?
these? The Tway? This looks like a dual band Yagi. It is.
It is. Look at that.
$99 for a dual band Yagi.
Does that have the duplexer built in?
That is a good question. Let's open it up and have a look here.
It says satellite work, so it better have a duplexer built in. Looks like it.
Looks like it might.
Because otherwise it would have two
Antenna
different connectors, right?
Yeah. So
Sometimes I get that backwards. My friend KK4PAL is saying he needs an inexpensive handheld VHF UHF USB-C charging model. That would be the TID Radio TDH3 that we talked about earlier in the show. So there's already a link below about that.
Mm-hmm. And we said duplexer, diplexer, diplexer.
So explain the difference on that one, because you'll do it better than I will, because you have much more experience than I do.
So a the easiest way to think of it is a diplexer. So diplexer is a out of band. So when you've got 2 bands, 2 or 3, triplexer is 3 bands. Diplexer is 2 different bands. So 2 meters, 440, triplexer, 6 meters, 2 meters, 440 example. That's when you're trying to split those signals and then either combine them into one antenna or one radio into 3 antennas. A duplexer is an in-band device. That's when you're trying to split 2 frequencies in the same band. So 2 frequencies in 2 meters, 2 frequencies in 70 centimeters, and that's to split them up for use on a repeater. I think that's probably the easiest way to explain it.
Okay.
Shane says the dual band Yagis generally use a passive driven element on 70 centimeters. I have seen that on one of the antenna amplifiers ones that I have. That is correct. And they still work pretty well. So Don's told us to have a look at some of these, and he's not sure because they're intriguing. Right. So cheers, Don.
I don't know if you heard me about Amazon Warehouse. Ray is talking about the Yagi show up on Amazon Warehouse for less money. And if they're returns, I wonder why they're being returned.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look at some of these sells an antenna that looks really cool, but doesn't actually do anything. So
this is
I returned
this
it.
is a five. So this is from Sirio, who are an Italian company. So they're selling a 6-meter, 5-element Yagi antenna that's tunable. So it looks like you can adjust the ends there.
That's a lot of metal for $160.
It is. That's not bad. 4.4 stars. I generally, when I look at reviews, I don't know if you're the same. When I look at reviews and ratings on Amazon, I figure that there's a lot more people that put negative reviews than positive reviews. Because how often do you get something and you go back to the page and say, hey, I really enjoyed this. This is awesome. But how many times will you go back and say, no, this is a load of crap, and you'll go and post it there?
I don't say a lot of things are awesome. So, I mean, I say you all are awesome, but I don't really say that, an antenna is awesome or a radio is awesome. Cool, it takes a lot for me to say something like that.
So this is the one that Donna's looking at. So, yeah, I mean,
that's not a bad price, Don.
I've got a design of 6-meter Yagi that when I say we as a radio club down here have a design of 6-meter Yagi that we build. So we sort of build our own. But yeah, if you don't want to build it or you don't have the tools to build it, then maybe one of these will come in handy. How heavy is it? 13 pounds. What's that? About 6 kilos. So that's not too bad.
Yeah, 6,100 grams.
6.1 kilos. But Sirio make pretty good antennas. Oh, is this their Tornado? They sell this too. So this is a big boy 10-meter base station antenna. There's you can't see in the photo, but you can see there's a big coil there, 4 big radials, and this long whip for 10 and you can also adjust it down to 27 megahertz as well. This is a 5/8 wave antenna, I think, and $99. See, this is the thing about Amazon.com. You guys get all the good stuff.
You're welcome to move.
Sure, I'm going to move to America just so I can get all the Amazon deals. That sounds like.
And remember, I'm not giving an opinion on whether that's a good idea or a bad idea. I'm just saying you're welcome to do it.
Where would you recommend
that you move to? I don't know. Argentina's looking pretty good right now. They're new.
No.
We're talking politics.
No, I meant
everybody.
I meant in the United States of America.
Oh, you got to do like I do. Come over here and just live in an RV full time. Then you can, if you have bad neighbors, you can leave.
You can go wherever you feel like going.
Yeah, thank dog I got out of my place I was staying last week. Oh my.
Hey, I know where you were last week.
Right. That's why that's funny. I was staying in my in-laws' backyard.
Yeah. Ham radio antennas.
Hey, Mike's here.
The traveling ham, do it. No, I kind of like living in this country. It's very good.
Apparently Don is saying it's cheaper to do your ham radio license renewal in the U.S.
To compare to here, that is incorrect now.
It's 35 US for 10 years.
Then it is completely incorrect because it costs now this amount here in Australia as of 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
So they've changed the rules now. You don't need to pay. You don't need to pay to take an exam. If you pass the exam, then you need to pay for your call sign and for your certificate to say that you passed the exam, and that's effectively your license. Your license gets issued for about 5 years, and then you don't pay any renewal fees. You go into like a portal that you go and say that you still need it and renew it. So that's a recent change in the last couple of weeks. So pretty much call sign for life is what it is. The only thing I would carry is myself.
Oh yeah, next time he comes out, we got to get him shooting, Mike.
Wow. What else are we looking for? So we looked at a 7300. What other icons are on here? Actually, Oh, so it's mostly marine stuff. Oh, you can get
Well,
a
they
2730.
do like their marine better than they like us.
They do. They do. So if we go to Gigapart, what other stuff can you get actually from Gigaparts on here? All their other stuff, all their computer stuff. Oh, a couple of radios, a couple of antenna switches. So the diamonds look like they come from there. Dummy load, we looked at those. A couple of CBs. A G5RV. What a great antenna, Tio.
I know, I love it. I've got one with me.
How often do you use it?
It's still in the original bag.
So speaking of which,
There it
look
is.
what just popped up on the screen.
Yep, I'm saving mine for a video project that is in the planning stages, and it's so many videos, so little time.
Yep. That is correct. Same problem here. So many videos, but so little time. And I'm not feeling the best today, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do a video today either. But yeah, they. Oh my goodness! Look what you. Would you buy one of these off Amazon?
I would not buy one of those, period, but that's me. That's more radio than I know what to do with.
If anyone wants to buy a 7610 and they want to buy it off of Amazon, please use my affiliate code.
Right.
I would really appreciate that. There you go. If anyone wants to, I don't know if that's a good price because I only know what the Aussie price is. I don't know what the US price is like over there, but I think that's probably on the high side.
Yeah, W5SWX is correct. The ZS6 BKW antenna is a upgraded and improved version of the G5RV.
It is. ZS6BKW. Is that what actually the MFJ 1778 is?
I doubt it. It's supposed to have slightly different wire lengths to make it more resonant on more bands. Oh, and now there's an upgrade to the upgrade, Don is saying.
Well, that says it's 160 to 10 meters as well. So this is only 102 feet long and it will do 160.
It won't. It needs a tuner. I mean,
Well,
it will,
yeah.
but I mean, good luck.
But not resonant, no.
Yeah, I mean, my pocket knife will do 160 with a good tuner too.
Well, Steve, if you've got a G90 K5 ATA, you could load up 160
yeah.
on the street sign.
I bet you I could use the G5RV to tune that on 160, but I wouldn't.
The G90, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't the G90 to tune the G5RV on 160. However, if you have ever tried to work a contact on 160, those are some very special people that do very special things on that band. And I mean that in a positive way. I'm not being mean. So you'll just be drowned out with all the amplifier guys.
They've got quite a few things on here. Look, you can buy rig experts as well. So this is, I think, all Gigapart stuff.
Yeah.
So, you can obviously buy from them directly, but you'd probably buy from here if you've got a handy Amazon gift card sitting in your cart that you want to use.
Yeah, those little balance are awesome.
Yeah. To make antennas out of.
Yeah, the LDG 4-to-1, 9-to-1, 49-to-1, 1-to-1, 1-to-1 voltage balun, 1-to-1 current balun.
Now someone posted earlier on in the chat about who's this guy, by the way? What's he showing off? A Samcon. Has anyone got one of these? No, did I get the model number wrong? 9800. Or am I still? I'm still looking on Gigaparts. That's why. TH9800. Yeah. One of these.
There it is. That's the Yaesu knockoff, right?
This is the Yaesu knockoff. I've heard mixed things about this, that it had problems and then they fixed it and then it didn't have problems, and can anyone confirm or deny if there's a problem with this radio? So this is a quad band. It does 10 meters 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters.
Norm is confirming that it may or may
Yep.
not have a problem. Yes. Can you confirm or deny? Yes, I can. Thank you. Would you like to? Nope.
Yep. Because
Yeah,
I'm
this
not
is-
sure if it. Yeah.
Liberty Cave's right. This is Joe Brett's favorite radio. He actually gutted one and then stuck a Raspberry Pi in it.
But his is he. I'm not sure if he got a previous model. I thought that they released a revision to this and it fixed a lot of the problems. So the problem that I had heard, and Hank says that the issue is with the speaker jack. I thought that the problem was with the PA blowing up. That you would use it and it would overheat and then blow up. Joe has had
LC
4
says to have
fail.
4 fail. Nice.
Oh, well, that's probably pretty comprehensive then, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
The sound doesn't feel good.
Because usually most TYT radios are pretty good, aren't they?
But I like it when the buttons feel good and the body feels good.
You're still talking about radios, right?
Of course.
Oh, dear. Yeah, okay. All right, well, that says that. Oh, hang on. Have you got one of these? You've got one of these, haven't you?
878 UV plus? No, I had the BTEC 6x2
Ah, the BTEC
radio,
one.
and it was fantastic radio. Now
So
they
you
have
had
the
the
6x2 Pro.
The BTEC
6X2.
DMR 6x2.
Yeah.
So you had this one. They look very similar. So
They
what's
are
the difference
exactly the same
between-
radio. There's a little bit of a firmware change inside, and stop that. The BTEC 6x2 came with an extra battery. This is a different thing. This is a 6x2 Pro. The 6x2 comes with 2 batteries instead of just one, and the 6x2 Pro comes with the Bluetooth push-to-talk button and only 1 battery. But they're both
this
good
is a
radios, and they're all made by
this is-
Anytone.
DMR and analog, yeah?
Yes.
So a little bit different than what we've been discussing because we just sort of covered only analog radios earlier. So
Yeah, that's a whole nother world of fun.
yeah, DMR, yeah, but the sound. I'm not a big fan of DMR. I'm not a big fan of digital radio. Full stop, really. So
I can see that.
Yeah. So there is a lot of stuff that you can find on Amazon ham radio stuff. I tend to go in here and the problem is when you just type ham radio into the search bar, you get bogged down with all of the Baofengs and it just looks like you only find Baofeng on Amazon. But there's actually a lot of different stuff that you can get. As I didn't even know you could get 2 and 6 meter Yagis. So there you go. I didn't know you could get stereo antennas anymore. So I guess you got to do a little bit more searching and see what you can find.
So our buddy here, John, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Pentoni, got his technician yesterday. Congratulations, John.
That's awesome, John. Let's celebrate that, John. Have you got your call sign yet? Hope you get your call sign soon and you can
Get on the
you can get on.
air.
What is this? This is a Yaesu. Oh, this could be dangerous. A Yaesu handheld VHF airband transceiver.
Yep. I don't know what the
This would-
rules are on this, and people in the chat might be able to correct me on this, obviously. But do you need to be a licensed pilot to transmit on airband?
Or have an airband license.
I'm not gonna interfere with what's going on, but you can talk to a pilot as they're flying above, and I don't know what the rules
Yeah.
are, is what I'm asking.
Well, like you obviously you don't want to be talking to commercial
You're
pilots,
saying
do you?
No, you cannot. Right. So like my my daughter was working on her pilot's license, and so if she was in the air and I had an airband transmitter, would I be in the wrong to talk to my own kid in the air?
Yeah, you'd need a license, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
So the chat is saying maybe both ways, maybe not. Both ways? Ham Radio Tectonics would know. There is an FCC permit license for pilots. Okay, awesome.
And Steve said also too that it's used for ground ops at airports as well.
Yeah.
Listening. Yeah, okay. That's interesting. I did not know that Yaesu made one of those. I know that I would have put money on Icon making them, but I didn't know that you could get a Yaesu.
William Henriksen says he misses the dancing on car. Who was the little man? We tried to change it up. So we did dancing, then we did the thank you with the fanfare, and now we have Simon, VA7BIX, who actually recorded himself playing trombone and gave that to us.
Simon's great. Simon's an Aussie.
Yes.
Living in Canada.
To make it even worse.
So in Australia, need a certificate of authorization from CASA in Australia. So CASA is the Civil Aviation something authority here, which is the equivalent of, what's yours?
The FAA.
FAA. But yes, do not buy this to try and transmit on the airbands.
Ah, it was Don. Don was the lid, William. Now you know. And no, Jim can't dance.
Surely everyone's seen the ape dance.
And Jim's watching, so he's going to chime in here with his hurt feelings report, Don.
So there is actually an ape dance GIF as well. GIF on Discord. If you actually search for the Smoking Ape, it's on Tenor, and you'll see him doing this. There are so many different Baofangs, aren't there?
So many fun radios.
Yep. Here we go. There's Jerica. Jerica's on the front of the ham radio license manual, the ARRL one. You can get that on Amazon.
I think her call sign is KI5ATA, if I remember right.
KI5. I think there's an H in there, isn't there? KH5?
KH5ATA? I don't know.
KH5ATA.
If only there was some way to look these things up.
We don't have a call sign database lookup tool anymore. So it's not. We used to have something similar to what the FCC have, where you could put in a call sign, you see the details.
KI5HTA.
KI5. I knew there was an H in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't have that anymore. So all you can see is the call sign and what license class it's assigned to. So you can't see the person's name. You can't see their address.
Sensing Hayden's going to start a QRZ.AU site.
Well, I think that's what they want people to do, is they want people to use QRZ. So here's another Baofeng with those with that interesting screen.
I think I have those. Those are GMRS. Even though
I've got the
GMRS frequencies.
These are not the GMRS ones. These are the ham radio ones.
Okay, I have a GMRS set like that.
Dual pack.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's plenty in there. All the links will be in the description below.
Down through another salvo. He says, look up Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios. We'll do that quickly. Rapid Radios. Or is it Rapid Radios?
We'll go beyond the sponsor. There's Baofeng. Nope. Are you in a subcategory?
I don't think so. Let me just go back to here.
Nope.
Still can't find it. Can't find Rapid Radios. Hayden sold me on getting the Anytone Quadruple 5 N2 from Amazon. Got my employee discount too. Nice. The Anytone is a great radio for 10 and 12 and 27 megs. Can't find this Rapid Radios, Don, so I don't know what we're looking for. So here's a question for you, Tio. If I wanted a GMRS radio, what one would you recommend?
There is a video on my channel. Funny you should ask that. The BTEC GMRS Pro radio is the one that I recommend. It puts out about 6 watts, and it has an amazing a ridiculously amazing amount of features in it that ham radio should have. So Bluetooth programming, you can control it from your cell phone. It has GPS built in, and you can create groups of contacts. So I can key up into a group, or I can send text messages back and forth in a group, and I need to play with it some more, but it's got an amazing amount of features.
What was that? The BTEC GMRS Pro?
GMRS Pro, yeah.
So this thing, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what can you do with the GPS? Can you transmit your coordinates to another one of these radios or anything like that?
Yep. So you can do location, and then you can also find out like distance from where you are and compass heading, and
Nice.
walk in that direction and meet up with people.
Cool.
And now Brian is saying that they just did a major firmware upgrade, which is true. December 2023 was the last firmware upgrade I saw, and it has a Bluetooth microphone feature now, so need to keep playing with that. And then Liberty Cave's asking about the RT85 from Retevis.
Does he mean the RT85 or the RT95? What is the
We did the
RT95?
RT95.
I don't think they're. Oh, so the RT. So these. I don't know about these. Have you seen these before?
High power DMR. That looks like the Baofeng
No, not DMR.
DM1601. It's not DMR?
Nope.
Okay.
Analog.
Nope. Awesome.
Remote stun.
Nice. Which means
Does
you
that
can
mean
turn the
that-
radio off remotely.
Oh, it doesn't
that you
mean
can
that you can
shock
press
the
a
other.
button and it will shock the other person at the other end.
Yeah. And then Don's talking about the RT90. I'm doing some work on a radio. Don gave me an RT90 at Huntsville Hamfest, and I am currently playing with OpenGD77 on that radio.
Retevis RT90. I can't
Yeah, it's
see
a
the
mobile
RT90.
radio, 50 watt mobile. I think it's 50 watts.
Can't see the RT90. Baofeng DM. Here we go. Baofeng DM 1701.
I think it might be discontinued, but I could be wrong. No, it's still
Here
good.
it is.
And that looks like, that looks like it'll do the OpenGD77 firmware too. Let me check that out real quick.
Because you can't get a GD77 anymore, can you?
Well, the GD77 is a specific radio, and then it has that special firmware in it. Yeah, the 1701, it doesn't say it's supported, but they support the 1801. And Jim and I did a video on the 1801. No, there it is, 1701. I'm sorry, they do it. I didn't read far enough. So yeah, so you can do OpenGD77 on that, which means that it will do all kinds of awesome stuff.
Hmm.
But I haven't had one in my hands, so I can't tell you if it's like, clean. But, for the price and for tinkering, go for it.
QYT 9600 apparently is the same as an RT90. And those numbers are not coming up for me.
That 8600 might be
If
it.
someone ever put together the family tree of ham radios, Baofeng would look like the Alabama brand.
Nice.
Yes. Very good. Very good indeed.
Yeah, it's the TYT MD 9600 is the TYT version of the RT90. I think that's the one that just popped up on your screen.
Okay. This one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one I'm playing with.
Is that good?
So
So
far,
this-
it's working pretty good. I haven't really done much with it other than play with it.
So this is like a was this run the open firmware as well?
That one will, yep. But so this is one of those ones where when I got it out of the box and started playing with it, there's this weird keystroke combination that I put it into that basically made it unfun, and it wasn't easy to get it out of that mode. So I just upgraded it.
Yeah, nice. It's always fun when you can do that kind of customization with stuff. It's like, I think that's why the Quancheng radios become so so popular is because you could do so much with it and customize it to your own needs.
That's what's fun about this hobby for me is making things do things they weren't supposed to do.
Hmm.
Is there a ham laptop that works and doesn't shut up shop? That must be a Kiwi term. I don't get that reference.
No, well, I know that term. Basically means won't just shut down or overheat or, that's not a load of rubbish, basically.
So I can't say there isn't one that is not a load of rubbish, but I can say there is one that is a load of rubbish, but is an affordable price, and that's the Evolve 3 laptop. The reason why we like it is because it's like $60. It runs on 12 volts, and it's fast enough for ham. That would be the one, but that's a horrible price.
What's a
Yeah,
good
don't get
price?
that one. It's like $60 to $100.
$122.
Yeah, there's probably just a shortage, and then that price will dip down a bit in the future. But like, the problem with ham radio is that all the software is really like out of date, so it doesn't
Mm.
matter what laptop you get. The slowest laptop you can find at Walmart will be good.
Yeah,
Thanks, Richard.
that works. Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
don't spend $3,000 on a ham laptop. $300 you're probably spending too much.
Yeah. I mean, you could do a lot with a Pi too, can't you?
You can. And then the problem with the Pi is that during the shortage, the prices got insane. And so Don, I knew he was going to say this. Most mini PCs are 12 volts, like a B-Link or something like that. The only reason why the Evolve is good is because it is a laptop. It's got screen, CPU, RAM, storage, keyboard, mouse. That's the only thing that makes it good
We forgot about this.
compared to like a Raspberry Pi or a mini PC. I have a couple of these. I've got like 3 of these. These things are awesome.
So, one of the guys in my club has one of these mounted inside a FT897, I think.
Inside?
Yeah,
Well, on
yeah,
897, yeah, there's plenty of room in an 897.
the big ones, not an 817, an 897. I think he
Yeah.
might have it. I think he has an 817 and he has it externally mounted on that as well. So this will go and make your radios that don't have a USB sound card in them for digital modes. This will make that happen, basically. So on one side, you've got your audio and serial connections, which plug into some of those older radios, like those Yaesu radios. And then on the other side here, you've got USB-C, which goes to your PC. And then it shows up as a USB device and USB sound card, right?
It does. It does.
So,
So Mike is not Mike. How to Ham. We'll get to Mike's question in a second, but How to Ham is saying that he needs a multiband antenna that does 40 through 10 on top of his tower. That's above my pay grade. I don't have a tower, but you might be able to help him with that.
I was going to say buy a car tenor.
But he's got a tower, so I'm thinking he's looking for like a Yagi with a rotator or something along those lines. A beam.
Probably something not on Amazon. I don't know. I mean, who knows? We found out. Let's see if you can buy. Can you buy HF Yagis? Probably not. I don't really
It'd be
know.
like a DX engineering thing. Yeah.
Yeah, probably like if you've got lots of money, probably a Step IR, something like that.
Yeah.
I
But if
don't
you're looking for like a
know-
wire antenna, yeah, Liberty Cave's right. Just do a doublet up there.
Yeah.
You can
Oh, the
run one
hex
of our
beam,
coffee and
as
ham
Don
radios
said.
antennas. Cushcraft R9 is what Jim is saying.
As Don said, the hex beam, although that won't do 40 meters.
Yeah.
40 meter hex beam is quite large.
So while you're looking for that, Mike is saying, is debloating my $200 12 volt gateway complicated? It is not complicated, but I would make sure that you have a complete backup first. You probably won't need it, but if you don't have it, then you will need it, and you'll hate your life.
What about a Hustler? This is an antenna that's been around for years as well. But I think these are mainly supposed to be ground mounted. A Hustler 5 BTV vertical. That's
You
what
can
the
mount those on
10380.
towers,
Yeah.
but I don't know that I'd mount a vertical HF antenna on a tower.
No. Probably not. But, I mean, hey, you got the option of doing it if you want to. Step IR just released a dipole. I would recommend a car antenna, though, if it's just a simple wire antenna.
Good idea.
Colin in VK, if only GME made ham radios, they're as good as ICOM and Yaesu. GME is an Australian brand that makes UHF CB antennas, which antennas and radios. And you're right, they are really good quality. It would be great if they made ham radios, but we are not their market. Our club has a Comet CHA 250 HD. Comet CHA 250 HD. No, that's not something you can get on Amazon. Oh, you got one of these. Now, what was the story with this?
It looks awesome, but it's not special.
It's not. No. Could you get it to work at all?
It works, but I mean, most HTs are happy with mismatched SWR, you know, so it didn't care. It's a cool looking antenna, like, hey, look at me, this is neat, you know, but in terms of, is it better than like a signal stick or something? Nah.
Can you use that for direction finding?
I doubt it. It doesn't look like it's got too much, you know, enough rejection or anything.
So VK4 UGO has said, might be late, and I know you don't like DMR, but have you looked at the Radio Oddity DB40? I haven't, but have you, Steve?
I have, and I've got a video on it on my channel.
Any good?
It's good. It's 40 watts. It's a big boy though. It's a very large mobile radio.
Mm-hmm. And then the smaller version, I noticed. Let me go back. The smaller version I noticed was this one, the DB25.
I like this one because it just looks neat. This is the GD88 HT in a 25 watt mobile version.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's got a couple of extra features. So it has a UVK, not a UV. It's got a Kenwood connector on it, so you could plug an AIOC board into it if you wanted to.
Oh, really? That'd be cool.
I don't have one in hand, so I don't know if the spacing is 100% accurate or not. It should be, but I haven't actually done that yet. I will. And then Brian's saying they burn out the finals, and probably.
I have done a video on the GD88, so I mean, when I say I don't like DMR, no. I did have a bit of fun with DMR using this radio, the GD88. I don't have this radio, but I've heard good things about it. I would probably prefer this, the GD8010. This just looks like it's a lot easier to run and program.
That looks like a knockoff of the 878 Anytone.
Yeah.
But it's at a good price, though.
Yeah. $168.
8 a.m.
Hamstick Eric, hello.
In Hawaii? Wow.
Hawaii.
Time zones suck.
Yeah, well, it's nearly 11 a.m. here. And this is the Radio Oddity. This is the Radio Oddity knockoff of the Anytone AT555, quadruple 5 as well.
Oh, he meant to say, but I am here now, not but 8 a.m. here.
Oh, 2 p.m. Yep. Pay the little bit of extra money and get the GD88. Yeah, I mean, I've still got it. It's, I don't know. It's just the programming was just a bit funny with it.
Yeah, and I've got a good video on how to program that on my channel.
This was also, and I've got a full review if you want to check it out on the channel, but it also had issues with the crossband repeat being descent, so you couldn't really, because it was full duplex, but you couldn't hear one side while you transmitted very well. So for satellite work, that might be a problem for you.
Well, in crossband repeat mode or in just regular mode?
No, in crossband repeat mode. In both modes. Yes.
Because I need to check out the full duplex thing. I haven't had a chance to do it. So somebody was asking about, does it do real APRS? It does beacon only and maybe canned messages, but you can't send.
You can't do smart beaconing with it and things like that.
Freeform messages, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the Sirio GP27 who suggested that? Colin for 10 meters. Again, all of Sirio antennas are pretty good. This one's $95. That's not too bad. What was the one that I had?
Never say never, Bryant. You're not dead yet.
Sirio. Oh, it's gone out of my head. What was the one I
Sirio
did
Gain
the video
Master?
on? No, mine wasn't the Gain Master. What was my one? I can't even remember my own videos. I know that a lot of people can build their own version of one of these antennas. These apparently get pretty high reviews and marks. Everyone likes these. But I can't remember.
Which is better, DMR or Wires X? That's like saying which is better, pancakes or waffles?
Oh, definitely pancakes.
See, to me, it's like the same ingredients. It's just like one's in the shape of a brick.
It's just does that wreck your is it just the presentation that you don't like?
Or I actually prefer waffles over pancakes.
You what, sorry?
I prefer waffles over pancakes. But, I'd prefer anything else over either one of those two choices.
It wasn't the IMX 2000.
Which is better analog. Yeah, I could go with that, Mike. So DMR or Wires X. So this is the problem with Yaesu digital radios. It's either Fusion, Wires X, or C4FM. Which one are you talking about? People say that C4FM sounds better than DMR, but most people with DMR have their mic gain setting way too high.
They don't have, it was definitely the 827. That's not an 827. That's similar to it. That's a 2008. The 827 looks like they got the anti-vibration ring. They don't have the actual antenna because the 827 can also be converted to a 6-meter antenna, which is, I think, sold by fmbroadcastantennas.com. What do they call it? They call it a 6-meter dominator antenna.
Yeah.
So
I will 100% agree that digital modes on Yaesu C4FM on Yaesu and Fusion on Yaesu is much easier than DMR. Wires X is a little weird. It's not hard. It's just you got a learning curve, just like you do with DMR.
I think we also need to. How can I put? Here we go. Pancakes or waffles?
As a poll in the chat.
Yes, this is the most. This is what we need to know. We need to know which one, pancakes or waffles.
Yeah. So real quickly here, DB is saying I'm completely new to ham. Was looking at either a 7300 or a 9700. Those are similar looking radios, but they do completely different things. They're both fantastic. Can I use the radio without an antenna until I get that, or is it necessary? Do not turn that radio on as a new ham without an antenna, because you might accidentally push to talk, which might accidentally destroy the radio. But get a simple antenna. Depending on your area and your license, if you're new, then you probably have a technician license, unless you're out of the U.S. So the 9700 is going to be a good radio to start as a technician. You can do a lot of stuff with that radio.
Yeah. So want to do long distance and satellite. So a 7300 is an HF radio. So there's not a lot distance. Of HF. Yep. So long distance. There's not a lot of satellites that run HF anymore. There's a couple on 10 meters, but the problem is that you'll need a radio for the other end, the downlink or the uplink. I can't remember which one is which. So 7300 long distance, yes. 9700 satellite, yes. So I guess it depends on which one you want to do.
You'll do more satellites with a 9700.
Yes, most definitely, and it's easier to do. It's easy to do satellites with a 9700.
Yeah.
7300, if you have access to HF, because I'm not sure if you're in the US or elsewhere. But if you have access to HF, once you've got into ham radio, then a 7300 is perfect for getting on HF. And that will definitely do your long distance. So
what
definitely
I'd be
make sure you have an antenna plugged in.
would I be wrong if I said that 9700 is probably the best radio for doing satellite or Earth Moon Earth work? And he's in Australia. Okay. So that changes the answer a little bit. But because
So
of the cat control software that will automatically do all the magic for you.
So
And the
you
power.
are, I would say the 9700 is the best satellite EME radio that you can buy right now.
There you
It,
go.
yes, yeah, that's correct. And the 9700 will do heaps of stuff. You'll also be able to do your repeaters. You could do your satellites. You could do long distance tropospheric propagation, usually in summer. So we're starting to come into autumn now here in Australia. So that's not really applicable for you. 7300, if you're getting your foundation license in Australia, is a good radio to pick, because if you get your foundation license, that's 10 watts. But if you upgrade to your standard, that's 100 watts. So you've already got the radio good to go that will do 100 watts for you. You just need to turn the power down when you're operating it while you're on your foundation license. But if you decide to upgrade, you've already got incentive because your radio will do the extra power.
So the other thing is that an antenna is not that expensive for the 9700. Just to put a something on there so you're not going to blow out your finals. I mean, you can get an HYS 2-meter antenna, and you can put 100 watts into it. You won't. It's not a great antenna for that purpose. It's more of an HT antenna.
Don says the 9700 drifts like crazy. That is only applicable in one or two situations. You can still use a 9700 for Earth, Moon, Earth without needing to do anything to it. It's just for modes like Whisper where that's a problem.
400 kilometer, 70 centimeter QSO on a 9700. Nice, Norm.
Yep. So you can do SSB on that too.
I mean, distance is relative for sure. I'm not here to argue about that, but for a brand new ham, doing extremely long distance on extremely high frequencies is extremely rare. See how I did that?
That was perfect. I didn't even notice it. So yeah, satellites. Yeah, it works. So Hamstick Eric. So we're talking about with 9700s with satellites. As Tio said earlier, what that does is if you plug it in and use software such as SatPC 32, there's other software as well that you can use that will automatically correct for Doppler shift for the satellite, because the satellite is moving at a different speed to what you're moving on the Earth. You need to change your frequency in your radio to compensate for that. The 9700 directly plugs straight into your PC, and a program just does all that automatically for you. So that's good for that too. Whereas other radios, if you're just using a handheld, you'd have to manually change the frequency as it goes over. Hamstick Eric uses PST rotator for Doppler. CSN SAT is another good option.
Yeah.
So
See you, Jody.
All good. So that's actually a very good segue because, well, first of all, before we finish, pancakes won 59% to waffles 41%. So there you go.
Barely a braggable distinction, yeah.
People with no taste. So Jody's been talking about this secret info about Jim. Now, we've been trying to keep this a secret the last few weeks, but we've been struggling a little bit. And then every time we go to reveal it, something happens. Like there's some technical thing where the internet just does not want. I'm pretty sure that Jim's hacked into our ISP and stops us from.
Anytime we try to tell the
information.
story, yeah.
Yeah. But we've got backup. You're on Starlink. I'm on a backup fiber connection here. So the story about Jim starts with him in Alabama and